The PD400X is a broadcast-style dynamic cardioid microphone. The body is all metal, as is the grill, and when you press the grill, it does resist deformation. On the side here, you've got a capacitive touch mute button, which works well, sometimes too well. I have, on a couple of occasions, managed to mute the microphone when reaching round to the smart knob. The smart knob, it can control the mic gain, the headphone volume, and also the monitor mix. One press gives you the mic gain, 2 presses headphone volume, and 3 presses the monitor mix. On the rear of the microphone, there's USB-C and XLR connectors for the output. There's also a 3.5mm headphone socket for zero latency monitoring of your audio. In addition to that, there's a little toggle switch and LEDs so that you can change the different EQ presets on this microphone. Now, all these controls and buttons, they only work in USB mode. When you're in XLR mode, they aren't available. However, having XLR and USB does give you options, and you can record from both outputs simultaneously. The Maono Link software is available for Windows, Mac and Android, so you could record with this microphone to your computer or your Android phone. So let's have a look at it. You have 2 panels available in this software. They're standard and advanced. Standard is really you choosing from a number of presets. Advanced gives you the ability to go into some of the settings and make changes. So let's look at the standard mode. At the top of the panel, you can see you can see where you can change from standard and advanced. Next down, you've got the mute button, which mirrors the one on the microphone itself. So let me just switch that. And now come back to me. Next to the mute button, you've got the level indicator. There are lots of divisions, and it's split up into mainly green divisions, and then there's some amber and red. You want to stay within the green. The amber, you're starting to overload. In the red, you're definitely overloading. So a risk of clipping your audio once you get up into the amber and red. So stay within the green. Next is the headphone volume. I'm using the headphone volume at 100%, but if your ears are more sensitive than mine, you could bring it down. So the next thing is the monitor mix, and that's really the balance of the level from the microphone and the level from the computer. Next up, you've got a section on the tone. You've got a choice of 4 different presets. The one that I'm using at the moment is deep. This, I suppose, is more reminiscent of that radio broadcast style that you'd recognise from microphones that the radio industry uses. Then you've got natural. I'm not sure whether this is just no EQ at all and no processing. It could be that there is a little bit of EQ being applied and maybe some limiting, but I'm not sure whether that's the case or not. Next to that, you've got bright, and what bright does, as the name suggests, it brightens up your audio. There's less of that bass, and some of the higher frequencies will be added or boosted, and that just allows your voice to cut through a mix if you've got other things in the background. Finally, you've got legacy. Now, what legacy is, I'm not quite sure. It's not described in the user manual that comes with the microphone, but whatever legacy is, you've got it there as well. So let's go back to deep, and Below the tone section, you've got the distance that you're going to be using this from. And you've got 3 presets, near, mid and far. When you've got the near button selected, then Maono obviously think that you're going to be between 5 and 10 centimeters away. That's 2 to 4 inches. If you select mid, you'll notice my level has just gone up. That's because it's been adjusted for you being further away from the microphone, and Maono are suggesting that you're 11 centimeters to 30 centimeters away, so that's 4 inches to 12 inches away. Finally, and I'll try and cut my level a little, because obviously as you go from near, mid and then to far, the mic gain has been increased. And at the far setting, Maono are assuming that you're going to be between 31 and 60 centimeters away, so that's between 1 foot and 2 foot. However, I would use the near preset most of the time, because I use this microphone at a distance of 4 to 6 inches away, and that's when you'll get the cleanest audio, because your voice will be the dominant sound, and by the input signal being turned down, less of the ambient sound and the background noise will be picked up. It will be mostly your voice. So on the near setting, that's where you'll get your cleanest audio. Right, so that's the standard panel. We can go over to the advanced, and you can hear that my level's gone up because it's set to a higher level than we had in the standard. So let me take that down a little bit. Now, at the top, you have got the same basic 3 things that you have in the standard panel. You've got the meter with the mute button, then the headphone volume and the monitor mix. So I'll not go over those again. Next down, you've got the EQ section, and here you've got 4 presets, which is actually a little bit disappointing, because this is meant to be the advanced section, so I wouldn't expect to be using presets. But what Maono have given us here is a flat setting, so presumably no EQ is being applied at all. This is just how it's coming from the microphone. Then you've got a high-pass filter. So what this is doing is it's cutting off the low frequencies. Next to that, the preset is the presence boost. Now, the presence boost will probably be lifting the frequencies in the 4 to 6 kilohertz range, and this will allow your voice to cut through the mix if you've got other things playing at the same time. The final preset is a mix of the high pass filter and the presence boost. Now, whether you like this or not, I don't know. The high pass filter is useful to minimize background noise. So if you've got rumbling traffic outdoors, or there's low frequency noises coming through the wall because someone's watching a TV or whatever on the other side of the wall, it can be useful for that. But I would probably select the flat preset, and in my recording software I would adjust the EQ there where I've got more control. Below the EQ section, you've got the gain control, and obviously as you drag it down, my level goes down. As you drag it further up, my level goes up. And I found that if I have this at around between 70 and 80, that when I record into Adobe Audition, that roughly equates to peaking at around minus 12 dB. It's a pity that the meters on this software don't actually have any numbers on them. It would be nice to know where you're peaking, not just that you're somewhere in the green or you're into the amber and red. Next down, you've got 2 really good features. You've got a limiter and compressor. To activate these, you would click on these little boxes at the side. I'm going to just show you the limiter first. Now, you'll notice that there are 3 little dots on the right hand side of the slider. If I click on that, you will go into the settings of the limiter. The slider on the left, that's the threshold, and that's a slider that you can see in the previous panel, in the advanced panel. And the threshold is the level of which the limiter kicks in. So if I'm recording and wanting to record at about minus 12 dB, I could bring the threshold down to, say, around 12 dB, and the effect would be that if I have any spikes above 12 dB, the limiter will help to bring that down and prevent my audio clipping. The attack and release, I would leave those where they are, unless you're wanting to have some specific effects. If you're wanting like a hard wall limiter, you could take the attack all the way down to 0, and then the limiter would kick in as soon as that spike comes in, whereas at 100 milliseconds it just delays it a little bit, and the release is when the limiter stops. So once you've made your settings, if you make any settings, then just click on confirm and you'll go back to the previous screen. If you've made changes and you don't know what you've done, just press the reset and you can go back. So I will click on confirm, and you'll notice that the limiter slider is in the position where I had the threshold in the settings. Next down, you've got the compressor. I'll activate that by clicking on that box, and again you can see that I've got 3 dots here. So click on that and you can see all your settings. You've got a few more than you had on the limiter. Limiters and compressors, they're very similar, and you can use a compressor to behave as a limiter, but in this case, I would be using the compressor to add that kind of boomy effect, that big boomy sound to your voice. Again, threshold determines when the compressor will kick in, so I will bring it down to, I don't know, about minus 20 something, and then the release and attack, I would leave more or less where they are. The one thing that I would change here is the compression rate. They call it compression rate, I would call it compression ratio, and you'll notice that it's actually expressed as a ratio here. And what that means is that if it's, say, a 2-to-1 compression, then for every 2 dB increase in the signal coming in, it'll only be a 1 dB increase going out. So if I took this all the way to 20 dB, for instance, not only should you hear a slight difference to the sound of my voice, but now what's happening is that for 20 dB increase in the signal, the output's only going up by 1 dB. So I could actually speak very loudly into this and I'm not peaking. So, but the main use of a compressor really is to give that oomph, if for want of another word, to your voice. It makes it more boomy. I would tend to usually not go more than about 10-to-1, possibly 4-to-1. That should be more than enough. So once you've set that, click on confirm, and you can see that the threshold slider has been adjusted here as well. So those are the settings in the advanced panel of the Maono Link software. So far we've been using this as a USB microphone, but you also have that XLR output. How does that sound? How does it compare to the USB output? So let's test it. I've set the USB EQ to flat, and I've also taken off the limiter and compressor, so hopefully this sounds as natural as it can be. I've taken the XLR output and I'm feeding that into my Zoom H5 recorder, so I'll be able to go from one to the other. So this is at the moment the USB output from this microphone. Now this is the XLR output from this microphone. Back to the USB microphone. How does this compare to the XLR microphone? Now back in the XLR microphone output, this is what the XLR output sounds like recorded into my H5 recorder. And now back to the USB output. So were they the same? Were they different? Let me know in the comments. Now let's check the pop rejection on this microphone. First of all, I'll take off the windscreen and speak to the bare microphone. So give me a second. And I'll be about 4 inches away from the microphone, and I'll go, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I'll try and be a bit more plosive-y. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. That's actually much better than I thought it would be. I have used microphones that are much more susceptible to plosives. This is not too bad. It's not the best by any means. I would still use it with some kind of pop protection. So now let's put the windscreen that comes with this microphone onto this mic and see how that compares. Right, and again from about 4 inches away. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Again, that's not too bad. I have used microphones that are far worse, and windscreens usually are not particularly great at preventing pops. I would use a proper pop filter for that, but this windscreen works not too bad at all. Now we'll move on to our next test, which is going to be a handling test. Now, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't normally handle this microphone. It's not a stage mic, so I wouldn't be holding it. I would have it on a stand, and I would keep that stand isolated from your desk so that it wouldn't pick up any bumps from your desk. For the sake of this test, let's have a go. So this is me now stroking the mic very gently. You can hear that. Let me tap it. That's tapping the body, and I'm doing this very gently. Now on the mic stand, that's even worse. Let's stroke that. So as well as putting this on a stand, I would get a shock mount if I were you, and that way it will be isolated from mechanical noises from your desk and from the floor. So this is now the off-axis rejection test, and I'm speaking directly into the end of the microphone from about 4 to 6 inches away. I'm now speaking into the side of the microphone at about 4 to 6 inches away. I'm now speaking from the rear of the microphone at a distance of about 4 to 6 inches from the capsule. And finally, I'm speaking from the other side of the microphone at about 4 to 6 inches away. And back to the front, this is me speaking into the end of the microphone from around 4 to 6 inches away. Finally, what about noise? I've got my laptop directly behind the microphone, so I'll shut up for a few seconds and let you hear the noise that this microphone is picking up from the background. So what do I think of the PD400X? Well, it certainly looks the part of a broadcast mic, and if you choose the near and deep presets in the standard panel of the software, it does give you that deeper sound that is familiar on radio broadcasts and podcasts. And if you really get close up to the microphone, then I'm about 2 inches away, you do get those really warm, deep tones. So yes, it sounds quite nice. But moving on, handling, it's not very good at that. But then it's not meant to be a handheld microphone. I certainly wouldn't use the stand that comes with it. I would get a boom arm and a shock mount to mount this on. Plosives, well, I was actually surprised at how well it coped with plosives. Certainly not perfect. I didn't expect it to be. You could change your mic technique and speak across the front of the microphone, and you would cut down a lot of those pops, but personally I would use the windscreen that comes with this, and also a pop filter in front of the microphone. Now, moving on to the USB software, it's not bad at all. It covers the standard and advanced. My only gripe with it is the EQ settings. In advanced mode, I want more than just 4 presets that I can use. I want to be able to do the same as I can in the limiter and compressor, and go into the settings and make adjustments. And as far as the limiter and compressor on this is concerned, thumbs up to Maono for that. But you've let it down by the EQ section. I want to be able to go into the EQ and make adjustments and save those adjustments as presets. So if you're watching this on Maono, please update your software. But the software overall is good. It gives you more options when using this microphone. Now, it seems to me that Maono are pitching this mic against other ones like the Shure MV7, especially if you look at the software that's included. Is it as good as the MV7, which I think is a cracking mic? I think the MV7 has the edge, but the MV7 is $110 more than this microphone. But is it $110 better? I don't think so. But the thing to consider is, will your viewers and listeners actually tell the difference? Will they hear the difference? More to the point, will they even care what mic you're using? As long as you sound good, then they won't even bother. So for my money, I think this is a cracking microphone. So thumbs up from me, and it comes recommended. Finally, I've got other videos about the Maono PD400X coming up. Once they're ready, I'll put a link up on the screen. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And to make sure you don't miss any of my new videos, smash that notification bell. Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to all my viewers who have used the links down in the description to support this channel. Thank you very much, it really is much appreciated. Until next time, keep on creating.